Hi, it's Ravi. Yes, you see it right. It's Ravi. And I'm here to talk about my unfortunate fursuit commissions. Now, I have commissioned a bunch of fursuits throughout my life, but I've also made a bunch of fursuits. Now, I haven't been the luckiest person with all of my commissions. Now, my very first fursuit I've ever commissioned with someone was me, Ravi. And I was made by the Forgotten Imp. And that commission actually went really well. So, I was really nervous for this commission since it was the very first one I did. It was a lot of money. And I don't know how it was gonna go. My English wasn't very perfect at the time, and the Forgotten Imp is a UK-based maker, so I was also nervous that our communication wouldn't be that great. Now, this fursuit was done in over a little more than 4 months, a little over 3 months, so almost 4 months, 3 or 4 months, for a fursuit head. That is extremely quickly. Like, extremely quickly. At least I think so. So, the only bad thing about the commission is that I only got 2 whips, which is one I found off of Instagram, which was the resin base, and 2 was one where she was, all grayish and barely furred. So, other than that, this commission went great, other than a bit of a lack of whips. So, I eventually got a lot of pictures when she was done. So when the head was done, I got sent a bunch of pictures and videos of her, and I was in love. And also, the shipping was actually fine. She was here very quickly, so that was actually really good. Now, this is where it kind of goes downhill. So, I have commissioned a bunch of tails. Now, with those, I am very happy. The first tail got made by I Hate Leaks, which is the Rika one, and it actually got here fairly quickly. So, I mean, the shipping took a while, but tail was done quite quickly. Now, I didn't get any whips of it, and I asked for the dark blue to be a thinner strip, and it ended up not having the thinner strip and not being the right color of blue. Because I didn't get any whips, I couldn't correct it. Now, I was really happy, and still am, with the way the tail moves. It's lightly stuffed, it has great realistic movement, so I'm still really happy with it. Then I commissioned Rika by Lich Fursuits. Now, before I get further into this, I mean no hate to any of these makers. Fursuit making is extremely hard and anxiety-inducing, and deadlines can be terrible. Now, the Forgotten Imp. Now, Lich herself is a great person. Great fursuit maker, nice craftsman work, but she has a lot of mental issues which really drag down the work. Now, I'm not gonna get into it because this video would be 2 hours long, but I got promised whips lots of times and I never got them. I got promised a lot of things that never happened. I made drawings because of the language barrier, because she didn't speak her English wasn't very well, and I don't speak Portuguese, so I made a bunch of drawings with how I wanted the head to look, and none of these drawings were actually referenced because the head looked completely different. She did make a lot of mistakes in the design, ones that I could barely see because I barely got any pictures. And then when I did get the pictures, I only noticed too late, and then she kind of got angry at me for not noticing it in time and having to do it again. And then at a certain point, she actually refused to rework a mistake she made and said that I had to do it myself, which was kind of stressing because I did not want to. The whole point was for me not to do anything because I can't make necks and all of that. So the whole thing I had to redo was the back of the head and the neck, which I still can't do. Now, she did calm down a day after and remade it. Now, this was just personal issues and stuff, and I absolutely mean no harm or hate to the maker at all. These things can happen, although they're very frustrating. Long fucking story short, I got the head of Rika, a year and a couple of months later. I waited so long for it and I wasn't happy with it, so never wore her and ended up making Rika myself. Then I bought Maeve. I commissioned Maeve on Valentine's Day, actually, which is really cute. February 14th, 2022. And this maker was it was awesome. So she's made by Crystalcraft 86. And the maker was immediately like, oh, should I use this fur color, this fur color, this fur color? Which color fits the best? And I hadn't had this before, not with Lich, not with the Forgotten Imp, because Lich only started ordering first 3 months in the process, and she was doing it about 2 hours after I purchased it, after I paid half of it. So I was extremely enthusiastic. I was like, wow, this is moving so quickly. And half of the commission moved extremely quickly. Now, Crystalcraft is a Russian-based fursuit maker, and, well, I don't have to explain what's going on in Russia, but over 2 months ago, we ended up losing all contact with each other. So that made me extremely nervous and sad, because the head was actually almost finished. Just, a bit more details and a bit more, and it was done. So, I did everything I could. I sent, messages on Facebook to the maker. I sent emails from 2 different email accounts. I sent messages through Telegram, Facebook, Instagram, and unfortunately she wouldn't answer, while she was always very, very quick to answer. And she is super, super nice, but she just didn't answer at all. Now, I just assumed it was because of Russia. Now, fortunately, about 3 weeks ago, I got contact again. Now, the quickest time that Maeve could be sent is October, probably around end of October. It's currently the 9th of September, so Maeve should have actually already been here. So now the only thing I heard was that Maker lost her phone, wasn't able to get home, and wasn't able to work on the fursuit, and that something terrible had happened. Now, she didn't share this for personal reasons, so I'm not gonna get too far into this. So I barely know anything of the status of Maeve right now, other than that the maker isn't home and can't get home at the moment, and that she'll be sent the earliest in October. Which really sucks, because I really wanted to have Maeve. So, yeah. Well, guess it's time to have patience again. And just hope that it all goes well. And then lastly, I ordered some sock paws for Rika by Sweet and Sour Fursuits. No, now I don't really know much about them. I know that they're very busy, and fursuit makers are humans. They can make mistakes. It happens. It's fine. Now, I sent a lot of reference pictures to them of different sock paws to show them what I wanted. And they said, yeah, I can make those. So I paid the entire commission on forehand, because I just wanted to have them as quickly as possible. And I was like, when will these be done? And they said, well, in 6 to 8 weeks. So I was like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now, I asked for whips about 6 weeks into the process, so when they would almost be done. which is maybe a bit too late. So I asked for whips, and they were like, oh yeah, I'll send some whips. A couple of weeks went by again, no whips, and then I asked for whips again, and they were like, oh yeah, of course. So they sent the whips, and what they made was not what I asked for. So basically they made regular, stumpy, big, plushy feet paws, while I specifically asked for very slim, fitted sock paws with like more realistic movement. So I told them like, oh, you made a mistake, and they were like, oh, I'm so sorry, and they had such a busy schedule that they couldn't really well, yeah, they kind of forgot what I asked for. So they were like, no worries, we'll do it all over again. And those sock paws were supposed to be sent off in the beginning of July. It's currently September, and since then I haven't heard much. I asked how the paws were doing, and they said that they haven't started yet. And that was about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I don't really remember. And then I sent a message again of like, hey, do you have some pictures of the base? Just to make sure that they wouldn't make a mistake again, but they haven't answered yet. So both Maeve and those sock paws should already have been here, but they're not, and I barely know anything about their status, and it can be really frustrating. Now, it's not necessarily the maker's fault, it's just life and things happen, and but yeah, it's really frustrating as a client to have to wait and just hope that it's going to be okay, especially if you put a lot of money on it, because I paid almost 300 euros for those paws to have them, one, made wrongly, and then second, not hear anything about them for a long time. Now, yeah, I'll just have to wait. But I really hope that Maeve will be here soon, because I really want my baby, and I really want to wear her and be able to express that side of me with that I only can do with Maeve. But I can't, because she's not here. She's somewhere in Russia being held up. So those are some of my unfortunate commissions, and I have been very unlucky. But I have been lucky with, like, for example, the tail of Maeve, which was made by, I don't remember, Fur Fun and More on Etsy, and the tail was done in 2 days. I commissioned it off of Etsy, which usually takes really long, and it was done in 2 days. They sent me whips immediately, and it was sent off, and 2 weeks later, boom, I had it. That was awesome. But other than that, I have to have a lot of patience. Also, I'm really glad I can wear Ravi again. It feels so good, even though she still feels uncomfortable to wear, but, she's just so cool. Anyway, that was some of my unfortunate first